Hello, today I'm building in Chestnut Ridge again, and I'm doing another build in fall because in my head it has to be fall. I'm kind of tired of summer. It's just been so hot. The only thing I like about summer right now is my garden, but I don't like having to take care of it in like 80 to 90 degree weather. So I'm like really looking forward to fall, and I had a lot of fun building this. I at first didn't really know what I was going to build, and I was worried that I wasn't going to get a video out this week, but I like sat down and it kind of like all just like came to me pretty quickly. And it's like the most fun I've had building in a little while. It's like very much in my comfort zone and something that I really enjoy. It's another witchy build, which I feel like I haven't gotten to fully do in a little while. So like there's lots of potions in here, nice big cauldron and stuff. But yeah, I had a reference picture for this. It doesn't completely look like it, but I'll pull it up so you can kind of get an idea of what inspired this build. Here it is, and I'm now noticing that it is a winter build picture, but I really liked the shape of it, and I just like really enjoyed all of the wood on it. And so that's like exactly what the shape is pretty much. I kind of just like copied it exactly. And I'm going to remember to link the Pinterest post that I had seen how I found this, because that's something I always forget to do, and I always want to remind myself to do it, but it's it's hard to remember. But I'm gonna do it and hopefully go back to older videos and post the links there as well for whichever pictures I had, if I still have them around. But anyway, I really, really liked this. And while I was building it, it kind of reminded me of my friend Molly, aka Mossy Sim on Instagram's like octagonal house build that she did a while ago that was based on a real life house. I think it was a house in Sleepy Hollow, which we went to together. Not the house. We had tried to, but we planned the trip like way last minute, and I think all of the like bookings were full. So we didn't get to go to the house that she built. But that's what kind of I was thinking about while I was building this. And when I get to the landscaping, I was like really trying to like role play as if I was her, because I really like the amount of patience she has when she's landscaping and putting down different plants and stuff. So I really tried to bring that patience in, because I'm a person who really rushes things and I don't like spending too much time on one area. And I felt like this build, I was really just trying to slow down. And I think that's why I enjoyed building it so much. It was like, it just felt nice to sit down after like a stressful week and just focus on building with like no pressure and like no time limit. So the build video is a little bit longer than I usually post, like it's almost a half an hour, but I did put a lot of clutter into it, which is something that I haven't done in a while too. If you've seen some of my other videos, then you must have heard me say that I'm like, yeah, I like simplicity now. I don't, cluttering is hard, and I still do like just simple decorations. But for some reason, I was just like completely zoned out, really enjoying this. I think it's because I was going for a theme that I really enjoy, and I will probably continue going with for at least until I get tired of doing it. So it's like August now. I'm hoping that I don't get tired of like Halloween style builds. Like I wouldn't consider this Halloween, but it kind of definitely is leaning towards that. I think that I'm gonna wait to do like my major pumpkin filled builds a little bit later. I say that now. Next week I can upload a video where it's just a bunch of pumpkins on a lot. Who knows? There are pumpkins in this build though. It's just not like the main focal point or theme of it. Also, I did put down that rock by the little pond, but I don't like how bright it is, so I do change that to a more gray rock, which I don't know why, for some reason. Well, I do know why. I know why the rocks kind of throw me off when I'm building in this world, and it's because like I'm trying to base it off of the ones that came with the horse ranch pack, and we don't have a lot of options like that. And so I was like, okay, I'll just go with this mossy rock and hope that it looks okay. And I almost just stuck with it, but I was like, Megan, if you leave this here, you're gonna hate the build. So just fix it now before it's too late. You've only placed a couple of them. And I'm happy that I did. I really like this rock. I use it around the entire build. So my way of landscaping usually is to just place rocks all the way around a build or all the way around a pond. And I haven't really done a build with a lot of terrain, which is something that I really do enjoy and I've kind of missed. So it was also nice to really try and like incorporate terrain again into one of my builds. And I feel like it's very like minimal. It's not a lot. It's just like a part of it is raised up on a hill and then there's a tiny pond. The lot's also not that huge. So there's that too. But yeah, I spent a lot of time trying to pick out the perfect sort of trees. And it's a little bit more difficult when you're building in fall in The Sims because the swatches don't kind of line up with what their actual colors are. And you kind of have to like place each tree to see. So like maybe you notice at the start of the video that I already had a few trees placed because I felt like it would be less pressure off of me in like the editing if I just kind of found like a group of trees that I knew I wanted to use and I kind of went for it. And so here is where I was trying to be patient. And I'm like, all right, Megan, be Molly, be patient with your landscaping and picking out the trees and stuff. I do end up just like filling most of the space with a bunch of flowers. And that was me being lazy, but also I felt like it worked because you can't really see it that well with all of the trees anyway. And like I just lined some of the rocks with like I don't even know what that is. It's like a grass, but it has some flowers on it just to kind of blend the rocks into the upper terrain a little bit. That's all that I do. It kind of looks like it's like a raised flower bed in a way. Not fully, but I'm getting that vibe while I'm watching it. And of course I put some dead grass on the roof. I liked the color of it in fall. It was like a nice red color and I felt like it worked. And I did save the wallpaper for a very long time into my build. I believe that I had to take a break. I was like, okay, I'm not doing the wallpaper right now or I will get frustrated because it is frustrating picking out wall paints. I feel like it's like a major pressure moment when building, but I am happy with how it came out. And I think I'm happy with how it came out because I didn't force myself to use something different than I like using. I used like the half timber, which I feel like I got in my head um recently or like in the last few months of that all of my builds used that exact wallpaper and then I had to stop using it for a little while. But I was like, okay, Megan, don't get in your head, just use it. It looks nice. And I do really like how it turned out. And I like being able to use the red swatch of the ivy because it looks really nice in fall. And I felt like yellow flowers worked too. Oh wait, yeah, because there's yellow trees and then there's red trees. So kind of like incorporates all of it and kind of feels like the stained glass windows that I used to because it feels like I don't know, I guess all the colors kind of just worked together. Realized I didn't like the like shade of the wood that I had used, so I just changed each one to like make it look better. That's another thing where I had to talk myself into it. I was like, you don't like this, just take the time to fix it. Molly would take the time to fix it. And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna do that. And I really like the pathway. I feel like I'm like the rocks that came with the horse ranch and debug that you could kind of like create like a swervy path has changed my life, and I really like making little pathways now. And I like surprisingly that rock doesn't look too bright. I know that's a major problem with a lot of the terrain paint in the game. I think it's because I just used the eraser tool to blend it into the grass a little bit, where normally I blend it in using dirt, but this time I just erased some of it and it was a lot quicker. So I'm gonna have to just try that from now on. Instead of blending dirt into the paths to make it less bright, I'll just erase some of it to make it blend into the existing grass already. It worked. So, and yeah, I just add some like wall cracks and stuff. It's not going to be super noticeable in a picture, but you notice it here because this is a video. And I forget that sometimes while I was editing this, I was like, oh yeah, I'm not really focusing too much on how it would look in a picture. That's weird. I feel like I normally focus on that, and it's like, well, Megan, this is a video. Like, you're able to show more of a build than you are able to on Instagram in like one picture that people probably look at for like 2 seconds. Where a video, it's like very long and everyone can see every little detail that you put in, which is nice. I really like that because these rooms are a little bit small and oddly shaped, so it would be hard to picture, but you get to see it in the video perfectly because I'm building it in an angle where I'm seeing it perfectly. But yeah, here's where I pull out the pumpkins. It was like, I don't know, it felt nice to be able to decorate with pumpkins again. I don't know why I was limiting that. But now the pumpkins are back in my builds, which I really enjoy. And it just ties it all together, I think. And I liked layering them on the stairs, and I put some candles going up too. It felt right. And again, I keep talking about Molly in this video, but she's back to building now. So I had watched her build one of her recent builds. It's like one that had a lot of, I was going to say one that has a lot of wisteria on it. All of her builds do. But anyway, one of them had little like pots of plants going up the stairs. And I was thinking about that too while I was putting the pumpkins on. I was like, yeah, I need to have stuff on these stairs. And it is functional because when I get to do the floor plan, I do make sure that's like some of it is functional. I believe it's just like I wanted to make sure they could walk into the house. I wanted to make sure that they could go all the way up to the 3rd floor, and also that they could use the bed. But I did not play test it after I put in a bunch of furniture, so that could definitely change. I'm gonna just start writing on the gallery that it's no guarantee that my build is functional, and that it might require you to edit some stuff because I feel like the gallery people get pretty like annoyed if a build isn't to their liking and stuff. And I normally already write that like I can't promise that it's functional, but I'm gonna make sure I just put that on every single one because sometimes I just can't be bothered to play test every single object in a house. And I don't think like if someone really wanted to use a build, I don't think it takes that much effort to customize it to your liking. And even if that means like having an item that I don't feel necessary to be functional, but you do, then it could be functional. But yeah, I am doing the floor plan now, and I wasn't like, I have felt nervous because it is a weird shape, but I put the stairs in and I knew I just needed to know where the kitchen went, and then everything else would be kind of okay. And I knew I wanted a big bathroom in this house because I normally make very small bathrooms. So I was imagining a really fancy tub with like candles around it. And so I like dedicated a large part of the downstairs to a bathroom. And I don't do that often, so it was nice to be able to do that. um Yes, so I did like the living room is pretty small. It doesn't really need much. I didn't put a TV in or anything. Oh, and the bedroom is only a 1 bedroom house because It's very tiny. Even though the video is pretty long, the house is very tiny. I made sure the bed worked. Your sim will have to walk around the stairs to get to the other side of the bed, which I guess isn't really that much of a problem. I was like thinking that I was like, maybe I should change this and maybe I should only do a single bed, but I'm happy that I went with just the double bed with like the weird Sims route around the stairs, but it's okay. And I kind of decorated this house in an odd way, like different from what I normally do. So I started with this tower because I knew that it would be a lot of fun because I was like, okay, this is going to be a witchy tower. I'm going to have a bunch of spell books in here and a big cauldron. And so I'm going to dedicate all of my initial energy to this room instead of the downstairs because I also wasn't sure what I wanted to do with the downstairs, but I knew what I wanted to do with the upstairs. And I really liked these little mushroom seats in the bookcase. I didn't think that these odd square pieces of the build would work, but I really like that they are added there because they bring in some natural light into this upstairs. And it was just like, it felt cozy and cute. And I try to hide the stool, like the like bottom part of the mushroom stool with some books, and I think it worked out pretty nicely. And that's only if like someone zooms in just to make it seem a little bit more blended in and more natural, and I felt like it was important to do that. So I ended up doing that. I didn't play test this tower room or anything. I don't see why it wouldn't work because they only need like a very small part of the cauldron to be functional. And I don't think a cauldron can set on fire. So a rug under it is probably okay in my head. But yeah, I like when I was decorating this and doing clutter, I kind of was just sorting by packs that I enjoy and that I knew that I would like want in here. Put a bunch of sash herbs. That's the unofficial name for them, from like Simley Sash on Instagram. She uses those herbs all the time. And so every time I place them, I just like repeat that in my head over and over again. Yeah, I like the little gnome hanging out in the back over there. And I gave him a little cow plant friend to like watch over the spell making or something. But yeah, you can see that I was having a lot of fun building this because I spent a lot of time cluttering this room. I kind of just zoned out and I was pulling out all of my clutter. And at one point, I did get nervous that I was using all of the clutter up here and that I wouldn't know what to do in the other parts of the house. And that did become a problem because I was like, I don't want to use all of the same magical clutter. But then I also wanted to bring some of the magic elements to the other aspects of the house too. And not just have it only be this like hidden room up here. I wanted it to be for a witch who kind of like has the potions everywhere because they use the potions like all the time. So they're not going to come all the way up here to like grab a potion if they need it. Like there's just one in their bathroom or something. And maybe in their bedroom. I can't remember if I actually did that. But yeah, I also didn't use a lot of different wallpapers in this build. I was trying different things out, but I felt like these ones just worked really nice together, and I matched in the base game wall. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. One of the wall ones that don't have the stone on it, that's just a base game one, and I paired that with the get together one that has the stone. And I liked how they like worked. It didn't really blend in too, like you can see it doesn't blend in perfectly. They're like slightly different shades. I feel like it ends up being a little bit better when I put some columns around, and it helps to blend things in a little bit more. I had to size down the end tables because even though those ones are one of the smallest ones we've gotten in a long time, they were still a little bit too big for this room because I was really attached to doing like a huge shelving unit in here. And I was really happy with it. I felt really excited when I was like putting this together for some reason. But I did get worried because I was like, okay, Megan, this is a lot of empty space that you're going to have to clutter. And you just used a bunch of clutter upstairs. So I'm not sure what you're gonna do about that. And I didn't like fill every single piece of these shelves up with clutter. I left a lot of space blank, which I think works. I'm happy with the end result. I was trying out some different things with that little closet, but I never really get to use the hanging clothes because I can never find the like shelf pieces that allow you to hang the clothes on. But because of the horse ranch pack, I know that that one you could hang clothes on, and I don't even know how to find all of the clothes. I think I searched up clothes, and I was just hoping that all of them would pop up because I still don't actually know where most of these items are, like sorted in the categories. Like I would not be able to find that at all. But yeah, I wanted a little teapot at the end of the bed, so it's like whoever lives here just had some tea and like a nice little candle lit. Would be very nice and cozy in the fall. And I don't know, I think like the stained glass window would bring in like the most beautiful light too. I feel like I just want this room now. Is it a dream house? I don't know. I just hung out with Marcy Lacelle like um a week ago, I guess. And we were talking about me calling my builds my dream home when it's like clearly not because I'd be too scared to live there and too afraid of bugs and stuff. But this is like in my head, if I was to run away to a cottage, this is the cottage that I would want to like run away to. And it wouldn't be logical. There'd be no way of me being able to run away, find a cottage, and then be able to take over the cottage as my own. Like it doesn't make sense. But this would be my dream fantasy, run away to a cottage that just somehow is mine because of magic in some way. But yeah, I love it. Is that like being full of myself? I'm not sure. But yeah, the downstairs, when I went down like this to this level, I was just like I was stunned for a second by how bright it was down here because I didn't have any wallpaper and I had all the default lights and stuff on. And so I was like, well, this is shocking because the other two rooms I just did were like very dimly lit and just like very warm and inviting. And then I just get down here and I'm like, oh, I need to decorate a lot down here, don't I? And it's like the main part of the house with a lot of rooms that I have to decorate. So I went right to the bathroom because I was the most excited about this. I used the new tub from the Horse Ranch pack because I haven't been able to use it yet because every time I've built, I've made the builds a little bit too small and I couldn't fit a bathtub in. And so this time I'm like, I'm gonna get the bathtub in. And I put it in with I guess one of the like console tables, is it called, behind the bathtub where you could kind of put candles and stuff on. And so I used the cute little log one with all the candles and stuff. And I decided to flip around one of those end tables because I didn't want the same items mirrored, but I didn't want a different wood swatch if I had picked a different table. So it's like, oh, I can just flip it around and I feel like it's not that noticeable that it's flipped around. And so I liked that. And like the clutter, I feel like went very quickly down here. I did bring some potions down. So you'll see me occasionally go all the way up to the third floor to bring some different clutter down. Um, yeah, because I used up every piece of clutter that I love to use in there. And I try to use a different wallpaper, and I was like, you know what? No, just stick with the other ones you just used because you already really liked them, and so you don't need to fix it. I did decide to like divide some of the room a little bit, which also was making me think while I was editing this, like, oh yeah, like I'd cut the room off a bunch, which would make it really hard to take a picture of. And I'm like, but I don't need to worry about that because this is a video and it already shows the room. And then the pictures are just bonuses. And like, I do usually, like, I don't often take interior pictures because they're pretty difficult to get like perfect. And I've heard people say that they will like change the room size and like expand walls and move stuff around just to take a picture. And I just don't have that level of energy or patience to do that. So every time I take a picture, it just has to be the exact shape that I already chose, because if I had to like move everything over by kind of expanding a room, I would just not want to take the picture and it would just be an aggravating time for me the entire time. But yeah, I liked using the cabinets in here, and I um the the couch. I knew the couch was a point that I wanted to talk about. I usually like to put very comfy looking couches, but none of them seem to work for me. It's really hard to find a really good couch that's only a two-seater, because all the couches I like are like three-seaters. And so I was like, I'm just gonna pick this uncomfortable like bench, and that's just what's going to be down here. And if they want to be comfortable and like on something soft, then that's what their bed is for. And maybe they don't really sit down here very often. Maybe it's just to warm up, because there's not really much to do in this room anyway. There's no like TV. They just sit by the fire, kind of. So how long can you really sit by a fire for? I'm not sure. I don't have a fireplace, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. um, but yeah, see, I'm putting more potions down here because I really was trying to get myself to think like a witch who would not want all their potions up like one flight of stairs and a ladder, because a ladder would be really difficult to carry liquids, and especially in the Sims, the like potions, they have like steam and weird effects coming off, and I don't know how safe that would be to carry down a ladder. I don't know. I'm thinking too much. But yeah, the kitchen, this is the last part of the build. Yeah, it's a small kitchen. There's not really much that you can do with it. I do change the table, and I mostly just focus my energy on like creating a cute little like decorative centerpiece on the table with different vegetables and stuff. So maybe they went to a market and they bought a bunch of pumpkins. And it's like all of the cottage living vegetables. It was like the lettuce, I think I put some lettuce on the table. I put some mushrooms and some eggplant. And it just felt right, because originally I was just going to put a bunch of pumpkins. But then I was like, you know what? I've never done this before. So I'm just gonna put a bunch of different fruits and vegetables on the table. And I was going to try and put those candles there too. It didn't work, so I just put some shelves, and I really, really like how it like came out. I love the kitchen. I feel like each room has a little area that I can really appreciate, which is like really refreshing and nice when you kind of spend hours on a build. And it's not just one part of it that you like, and it's kind of like little areas in every single part of the house, which is something I missed about building. I haven't really felt that way about my builds in a little while. And so it was really refreshing to see. And I think that like a lot of kind comments recently and stuff has really helped to like pick myself out of like a lot of like negative self-talk and stuff. So I really appreciate everybody who's left kind words about my builds and videos. They mean a lot to me to read. So yeah, but that's the end of the video. So thank you for watching. You can find me on Instagram, Twitch, and Twitter. So yeah, bye.